like for example, I think the video that you saw was when I was talking to people about I am versus I am experiencing. I say I am because people are like, I am this, I am this. They're doing it on one end with something positive, and they're also doing it on the same end with something negative. I'm so stupid. I'm broke. I'm this, right? No, but I'm abundant in this. And then we're confusing ourselves. We're short circuiting, right? So now instead, if I'm like, I'm experiencing some cash flow issues, because you even saying that, saying rather than I'm broke, I got to come into my mind and thinking, well, I know I'm other than broke, so what am I? Oh, well, I'm actually experiencing cash flow issues because I get paid next week. Great, right? Like, I'm so stupid. Well, actually, I'm experiencing absent-mindedness because I knew the answer to that. I was just caught off guard. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, we start to really adjust how we're even seeing things. That's why I like even words, like getting rid of the words but and should, no shoulding. Yeah, stop shoulding on yourself. If you active listen to people, right? They'll say should like it's they're breathing air. It's bananas. Just listen how people talk. When we start damaging or when we start talking negatively about ourselves, we're turning off our receptivity to something divine and great.
Welcome to the Casual Temple. This week, we're joined by Paul Newell. Paul has many talents. He's a consultant, guide, teacher, and the author of the book Heal.Thy.Man Method. You can also find him hosting the I'm going to say this right, Heal.Thy.Man Method. I'm going to get it. Heal.Thy.Man podcast. Paul shares his wisdom and inspiration on his YouTube channels, Paul Newell Guides, where he shares very thought-provoking, inspiring content, and then more than black or white health podcast, where he and his co-host Brian unravel the secrets to a vibrant and balanced life. Paul, it's such a pleasure to have you here at the Casual Temple.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you for the invite. I'm excited
Yes,
to
thank
this
you.
combo.
Oh, thank you. Me too. Yeah, and I chatted a little bit before. I loved your video. I happened upon it. I think you had just ended a live stream, and it was like the rhythms of life and navigating change with conscious language, and it's about all kinds of stuff that I'm super into, which is like kind of what you say is kind of like casting like a magical spell of your and shaping your reality and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, so cool. And then you had another one that was cool that I watched immediately after. I think it's called Active Listening to Your Inner Voice.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
that
just
was
really
a fun one.
good.
That was a fun one.
It was so good. Yeah. So all your content is great, like very positive. You put them in nice digestible chunks, and like, yeah, I really love it. So thank you.
That's awesome feedback. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, of
That's awesome.
course.
Yeah, awesome. I was
Uh,
so happy to get your note when you
yeah,
said that. I said, "That's cool." Someone's, because I put it out there. I'm
I
like,
know.
"Hey, here's it."
Right.
And I was it's really cool how everything aligns.
Mm,
Like, and
yeah.
that was really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, no
Thanks
problem.
for
Yeah.
sharing.
Well, my pleasure. We kind of get into stuff here. So,
Right. And I just want to make
um,
sure I pronounce your name. Is it Marilee?
yeah, it's Merrily, just like
Okay.
Merrily. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Fresh.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome.
Um, so we generally tend to start so folks can kind of get an idea from where you're coming from. Was there a pivotal moment in your life that shaped who you are and all the wonderful things that you're doing today?
Hmm. I know you gave me a heads up on the question, and I'm like, I just blanked. But
All good. No, no worries.
no, you know what it was? It was choosing between a couple different
Mm,
instances. One was like the childhood one, like I was for like, parents got separated. I didn't know what to do, what happened.
yeah.
Um, but really the event was the day my divorce got finalized. That was bananas for me, Marilee, because
Yeah.
it was like it was like I entered a whole other realm.
Mm.
because I gotten divorced and I had been living this part of myself that said I'm supposed to get married. I had a kid. I had literally the house on the corner with the
Right.
fence. It was wood stained. It wasn't white, but it was wood stained and
Yeah.
stuff. So I had all that,
Wow.
and it didn't work. It was failing to work for me, and I left. And
Mm.
it was like a lot, even through the divorce process, a lot of the things like I was working through and the anger and stuff, it was like it had all come to this final moment where I remember walking outside of the courthouse and I was just like, what the, what do I do now?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like rebuilding a life from scratch with like, it wasn't even like I was a newborn and I had a blank slate. I was like, oh, junk, I got all this stuff. Oh man, like it wasn't like I was a free clean slate. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really that was the point for me. That was the point that really changed things, shifted it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's such a I loved how you explained that because it's just like, yeah, who are you at this point? Who?
Yeah, it's that's one of the reasons I love doing what I do and working with men and especially
Yeah.
working with people that go through life change because if they're anything like me, I thought that it was like the story's supposed to end a certain way.
Mm.
And when the story failed to end like how I thought it was supposed to, I was like a little kid throwing a temper tantrum, an adult
Yeah.
version,
Yeah.
instead of like just throwing my hands all over the place and rolling against the ground, I go to a bar and get banged up drunk.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like it was yeah, it was a very interesting time for years after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say, so you had this experience, so and then you're trying to figure out what to do next. What was there something that like a book that you saw or something that made you go, maybe I'll try that, you know?
Hmm. Uh, you know what? Um, it was a couple of them. It was the Four Agreements
Mm,
at the time. Uh, and I'm trying to think of the name of the book, but it was like leadership and self tactics.
mm,
But basically, what it was a book about how we perceive our situations. So it was like it was timely that I read that book and that it was suggested to me
mm-hmm.
because it had me really settle into like, well, how am I seeing this? You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like that book, and there's another book that's escaping me. It'll come to me. It was
Yeah.
like yeah, I know it was those two books, and I'm thinking like what book that's coming to mind is Outwitting the Devil, like
Ooh.
around that time. Yeah, it actually was because I remember that's when I was. It talked about something called a hypnotic rhythm, and it talked about
Mm,
the ways that we distract ourselves, and that we in our hypnotic rhythm is like being on task, like focusing. Like I'm like so focused and drawn into my my intention is that
mhm,
I'm in a rhythm. Like there's nothing that's gonna take me off of my game and it can
mm.
go either way. So I remember when I read that at the time, that was a very interesting thing for me. I was like, oh man, so I wonder if I can put my mindset on getting the hell out of this because this sucks.
Right.
It really sucks. You know what I mean? I was like, this is
Yeah.
horrible. Oh my God. Yeah, it was terrible.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of that book. It sounds really I like how you kind of encapsulated that. It's just like you can either be sort of in a hypnotic or, hypnotic state of doing what you want to do, or you're in some other like something else. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Exactly. And I needed that at the time because
Yeah.
I was struggling. Like I was having suicidal thoughts. Like I was like,
Yeah.
why am I here? Like I was like,
Hmm.
it was rough. It was rough.
Wow. I'm glad you found that and you're here, and that's wonderful. So
I made it. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
you
me
made
too.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy I came through.
yeah, and I know I think one of your like I've seen quite a few of your videos, and I think you had mentioned that you like you liked Napoleon Hill too. And I know there's a lot of really good similar type of things in his writings and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff too.
Napoleon Hill is. Have you ever read Think and Grow Rich?
Yes, I have read, or actually I have the audiobook. I listened to the audiobook.
Oh, that's
Very
even
good.
better. Oh,
Yeah.
that's even better. I like the audio. Like I just started getting into audiobooks, right?
Hmm.
So it's like I'm listening to. I'm like, oh, this is nice. So I can be in the car, and then
Yep.
like if I want to get the book, I can read. I can listen along and read, and then like
Hmm.
take notes and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's such a great book on so many levels. So many levels. It's like for people that are listening, if you have yet to read it, please do read it. Like
Yeah.
audiobook, it's it's a game changer.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really good. It has a lot. Now I know, like, you say what the title is, and then people are like, "Oh, that sounds really materialistic," and blah 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 blah. blah. I'm like, okay, come on. Like, yeah, there's that part of it, but there's
Mhm.
like the foundations of it is like very applicable to so many things in your life. Like, yeah.
And I have to tell you, Merle, that was my freaking first reaction when I heard about the book. I was like, man, because I had such money shadow. I was like a black kid growing up in an affluent white town, like living in an apartment with all my siblings and stuff, and going to these
Hmm.
houses like, hello, hello, hello,
Right.
hello. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this place
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
So that like, yeah, so I had a lot of money shadow. So when I first heard about the
Mhm.
book, I was like, man. Then he was like, read it. Like just like how you just described, he was like, there's so much more in there.
Yeah.
And it's really like thinking back, I mean, this book was written in like the 1910s, 1920s or something like this. So like riches to them was so much more. It was like influence. It was I mean, it was land, it was enterprise, it was more than a dollar bill. It was like ideas, having riches and ideas and so many different things, and how we harness all this. That was
Hmm.
the thing that really got me about the book. Like he was, and that's the key to abundance, right? And that's the
Yeah.
key to quote unquote riches is being able to take all of our skills, stay focused, be free of distractions, and really hunker down and get what you want. Like it's an energetic piece.
Yeah. Oh, beautifully explained. Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody listen to Paul on like why Think and Grow Rich is wonderful because it's like perfect.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's a everyone's like, hey, you have some books to recommend? I was like, yup. Think and Grow Rich, Power
Mhm.
and the Devil, and seven spiritual laws, and the Power Path, and also the Four Agreements.
Nice.
Oh, I'm gonna take off one. I'm
Oh,
gonna take off the Power Path. I'm gonna put Heal.Thy.Man Method. I gotta
oh,
put my
that's
book up there.
right.
I gotta put my book up there.
Yes, of
I'm stepping
course.
into like accepting that I actually wrote this.
Yeah, it's a
Oh
big deal.
yeah, so, yeah, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I'm glad you put your work out there. It's so much hard work and like, yeah, I'm glad you put your ideas together. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in addition to sort of like books that you read, were there any did you have any support or guidance along your path or
Mm, I love this question. I had a good amount of guides, seen and unseen.
Mm.
So people may be like, "What?" But I think you already guessed it.
I know.
Yeah. So I mean, I've had like my men's groups. Like I went to this thing called the New Warrior Training Adventure with the Mankind Project. May will actually be 10 years ago,
Wow.
and that was a great way to support because as a guy, I had yet to know what it was like to get support from other guys, like authentic, like accountable support.
Hmm.
So that was like a great learning experience for me. So they've been great support as I was navigating and going through a lot of like sticky stuff. And I practice shamanism, so being able to go into realms and see my spirit guides, go see ancestors, and I do plant medicine as well.
Wow.
So that gives me the opportunity to really, again, go to different realms, connect with Source, the All, and really get to understand what's really happening. So that's been a big support, especially when I was going through when I was going through some things and I was able to understand that we're all connected, we're all one. Like it's about frequencies, things like this. That's when things really started to shift for me. So that was like a very powerful guide. Those things together really helped me out big time.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. Yeah, that sounds so cool. Like I like that you've kind of reached out and found another community of men to kind of help you out. And it's funny because I was thinking like, yeah, especially when you're younger. Yeah, I'm speaking for myself too. And but you know, maybe some of the friends that you had weren't like super supportive. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yup. Yup. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
And it's tough to really know until you go through it. Like look back, you're like,
Yes.
oh damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, oh man, shoot, man, I gotta
Yeah. And I
cut.
love that you also talked about your unseen guides as well, because we talk a lot about that here on Casual Temple because sometimes people don't have in person people they can go to, but there is just like a whole realm of unseen people and ancestors that are waiting for you to get a hold of them. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that. And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons I was really excited to be on this podcast with you and Causal Temple because looking at the content, I was like, oh shoot, I can really just let go. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like and talk about stuff that like, that's really been a support for me because
Yeah.
unfortunately, unfortunately, most people have yet to really accept that these are available to us. Like, I lost my mom, not lost, but like my mom and dad have passed, they've transitioned.
Mm,
So in a lot of ways, like I'm still connected to them in
yeah.
spirit, and I get guidance from them too. So
Yeah.
it's very key for people to recognize that that's something that's available to us in a big way.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So what would you say, I know we talked about you have so much that you're doing, but if you were to tell somebody what your sort of path, either be it a spiritual path or your moral or life path or what, how would you explain what your path looks like today to somebody?
Uh, yeah, that's a great question. I would say I'm on a path to create a heartful culture of purpose-driven men that
Awesome.
vibrate authentically in their body, in their mind, and in their spirit. And that's really done through education, like being a teacher, being a facilitator, and being a shift starter. Like people are gonna shift when they come around me. So that's like it's what it is. Shift happens. So I and the reason being is because like for a lot of years I really honed in on creating space and like after doing my work I recognized that the reason I'm so passionate about creating space is because I was really sad and lonely as a kid and I
Hmm.
just felt like I didn't belong. So I always wanted to make sure I created spaces that for people that they always felt like they were home, like they had a place to go, a place to feel welcome, to be heard. So like that's been a lot of my work. And I'm when you said, you're doing a lot of things, I was like, I'm working on that. Like, cause like I love doing a lot of things. Like I'm learning about this like human design. I'm a manifesting generator.
Me
So,
too.
oh bless high five with a pinky over there. Yeah. Yes. So I'm like learning about all these things and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that makes sense, right?
Hmm.
So I'm learning to harness, like, I'll have ideas and I'll just like write them down and then like, okay, what am I going with? Whereas
Yeah.
before I was like, to be rigid. No, and then like I'd be all upset like if things like fell by the wayside, but that's like my
Yeah.
nature. Like, it
Yep.
didn't work out. All right, I'm
Eh.
gonna go there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's a
Yes.
whole new world for me right now. Whole new
Yeah.
world. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm glad. Not that we're gonna derail on a human design or anything, but yeah,
Look,
definitely.
hey, I'm all here. I'm here for it.
But yeah, it was something I heard about like a couple years ago. Like a friend of mine had mentioned it in a message board or something, and I was like, what? And then recently I've been looking into it, and oh my goodness, like understanding like manifesting generator energy, it took such a weight off of me because of the like, I have so many ideas, I have so many projects all at the same time, just so many things.
It's wild.
Yes.
So do you
Yes.
ever have like an opportunity uh to pause and look at everything that you've done or that you're doing?
You know, Paul, I think I've done that once, but when you just mentioned it, I was like, I have not done that recently, but that's a great
Yeah.
point.
Man, so quick story. So
Yeah.
I've been studying this book called The Initiation of Hermetics.
Mm,
And it's like I'm in this point where it's talking about creating like an occult mirror. Like so I had to write down like all these bad, like quote unquote negative traits,
mm,
and then like align them to an element, and then list like what's most frequent, what's less frequent, so forth. Did the negative, free, no problem. Get to the positive, I'm like, oh John, like I don't know. So I had to
mm.
pause and like really think about this, right? And like I put down productive, and I was like, man. And I just got like this thought trail of like, what am I doing right now? And I was like, oh, 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 God, oh, not another one. It was like I started recognizing like, oh my goodness, like I have like I have things that I'm following, that I'm focused on, like the main things,
Mm.
and then like I find like there's a lot of offshoots,
Yep.
right? Like these, and whether they're thoughts, but like what's happening with them, and I'm recognizing like, okay, I get to start pulling that in, or at least some of them in, or cutting them, because it's like
Yeah.
if I fail to prune them or draw them in, like it's gonna drain my energy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a really interesting practice right now where I am in this part of the journey. It's really
Ooh,
interesting.
that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm definitely, as a great reminder to kind of pause and then reflect on, like, I actually do get stuff done. I
Yeah, you
do,
do,
you know
right?
what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
You gotta open up to that, like, right? Because I thought I was digging a whole bunch of shallow holes, right? Like, oh, let me start. But then I
yep.
was like, oh, junk, I did finish that. It may have taken a year
Yep.
versus like the month I thought it could take, right?
Right.
And and I got it done, you know? So I'm like learning. I'm learning. I'm really getting there.
I love it. Yeah, thank you. Well, thanks for
Well,
going down the human design manifesting generator road. That's awesome.
I'm all excited about that.
Me too. Uh, um, so again, so I know, I talked about that you like Napoleon Hill, but a lot of your videos seem to incorporate new thought kind of ideas and concepts.
Yeah.
And can you, uh, if new thought is something that you follow, can you help the audience understand sort of like what that's about?
Well, I wanted to ask, like, because I've heard new thought, but like when you
Oh,
say new thought, is it like new age? Like what is that?
oh, okay. It's kind of like New Thought is kind of like Napoleon Hill, sort of like that sort of thinking or whatever. It's around sort of like your thoughts manifest or your thoughts
Oh
kind of
yeah,
attract,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So from what I got from your videos, it seems like
Yes,
that's really
yes.
what you.
So I'm all
Yes.
yes, I'm new thought.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
um
yeah, yeah.
I'm all for it. Yeah, so I would say I'm very much into rewiring
Mm,
right
yeah.
now. Like
Yeah.
I get the transformation. I think the transformation is important. And I think there's a distinction between transformation and rewiring. So that's where my intention is when it comes to when I'm doing those videos about words and how we're looking at things, how we talk to ourselves, parts work like internal family systems. looking at these types of things to really see ourselves differently.
Mm.
Because there's a workshop I'm doing locally called Stories, and it's an opportunity for people to like, hey, tell me your story about life or love or loss, right? They write in the I, well, I did I, and then like, okay, cool, pause. We're gonna move around a little bit. Now rewrite that in the third person. Cool.
Mm.
Now, okay, cool. Get now, go have this person read your story to you. What do you hear? And people are like, oh my God. And I did this. I wrote about this in the book, but I did this in a workshop, and I saw
Oh.
this unravel real time. And I recognized that when we're programmed, our thoughts, like our capacity to create new thoughts, diminishes, right? Or not even
Mm.
diminishes, it turns off, it like deactivates. So
Mm.
we go by a story. We're like, okay, I did this, 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 I did this. Oh, what you want to know? I'm this. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. It's like, and you can, if you when you talk, when you get to really know someone and you practice active listening, you start to
Mm.
hear a person's story. Like in
Right.
the stories, we are the stories we tell ourselves, right? So when I talk, like, so the new thought is like, okay, well, change this word, and can you say this again, but reframe that? And then they're like, why does that feel different? Well, tell me, like, what do you feel? What do you feel? What do you sense?
Yeah.
And it's all brain works, and that's why I think that like the way that we speak and our thoughts, like I've been very particular about words that I say. I'm practicing this, right? And
Right.
especially when I'm one of the facilitators for a circle of men of color called the Brotherhood of Kings. And like one of the things I'll say in our check-in is, instead of like, hey, how you feeling, to men, I'm like, hey, what are you sensing? Because our brain takes in from all of our senses. The thing is that the brain stores it all, because again, we use a small fraction of this thing here, right? So
Right.
it's collecting a lot of data. So what is it pulled to? It's pulled to whatever our story, or aligns to our story, right? So we begin to see and perceive and even hear things a certain way. When we start to, like, for example, I think the video that you saw was when I was talking to people about I am versus I am experiencing. So when
Mm-hmm.
I say I am, because people are like, I am this, I am this, they're doing it on one end with something positive, and they're also doing it on the same end with something negative. I'm so stupid. I'm
Right.
foolish. I'm broke. I'm this, right? No, but I'm abundant in this. And then we're confusing ourselves. We're short circuiting it,
Mhm.
right? So now instead, if I'm like, I'm experiencing some cash flow issues,
Yeah.
because you even saying that, saying rather than I'm broke, I got to come into my mind and thinking, well, I know I'm other than broke. So what am I? Oh, well, I'm actually experiencing cash flow issues because I get paid next week. Great. Right? Like, I'm so stupid. Well, actually, I'm experiencing absent mindedness because I knew the answer to that. I was just caught off guard.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now all of a sudden we start to really adjust how we're even seeing things. That's why I like even words like getting rid of the words but and should, no shoulding, like
No
things like that.
shoulding.
Yeah, stop shoulding on yourself.
That's that's
You know what I mean?
that's
Think
right.
about how, if you active listen to people, right?
Yeah.
People say should like it's they're breathing air.
Mm-hmm.
It's bananas.
It is.
Like just listen to like how people talk, and like I was just looked up New Thought and it talked about infinite intelligence. When we start damaging, or when we start talking negatively about ourselves, we're turning off our receptivity to something divine and great.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
follow what I'm saying?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So it's so important that we look at and pay attention to the words that we speak,
Mm-hmm.
because they are spells.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wow.
How do you even like So like if I'm going to go, I don't like parties, by the way, but I'm going to use this as an example.
Sure.
I'm going to go to a party. But
Mm-hmm.
before I go to the party, one, I'm going to have a wonderful time and I meet new people. I'm going to, all these things. Cool. Or, oh man, I really don't want to go to this party. Why did I even agree to go? I'm going to have a terrible time. Um, but even then, like even before I get to the state of even going to the party, the thing about shoulding, right? Where was it? Where did I agree to something that I didn't even want to do in the first place? you know?
Yeah, like what brings me here?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
brings me here? But then now I'm here, and then so I'm going to this party, but I'm casting the spell of like I'm going to have a wonderful time, or am I casting the spell that I'm going to go in and have a miserable time?
Yeah, that is so funky. Yeah, because so I'm like hearing this, right? And like what's coming to mind is like really both of these are being said
Mm,
because like and this is what this is something that I get jammed up. Well, yeah, I do get jammed up about this with the spiritual community now that I'm
mm,
seeing, is that there's so much thing on like you got to speak positive. You got to speak positive. You got to bring this.
mm-hmm.
And the thing is we're failing to address the root. So like we're saying this, but the root is like, shut your ass up, you lying mother hoo-ha. You know you're not this. You know you want
Mm-hmm.
to be home watching Netflix. You know you want to chill right now. You don't want to be here. You don't tell me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this thing is completely resisting this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying is like rather like letting both live and be like, I'm gonna go and be present.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Oh,
mean? That
yeah.
whatever is there is there.
Hmm. Awesome. I like that. Like that.
It's gonna be present. Like, you know what? Your presence, you may hear some fresh song and you be like, yo, I'm gonna use that before the podcast. That took is fresh. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you
Ah,
know,
that is perfect.
thanks.
Um, so I think this was it kind of goes together, I feel, with what you're saying. But
Mhm.
one of your videos you mentioned, and I don't know if you put it this way, but my question was, or is,
Mhm.
why is it important for us as human beings to understand that we're energy? Because you kind of talk about that, I
Yeah.
feel. Yeah.
Mm. I'm gonna breathe on that one because that just
Yeah.
yeah. It's hit me because before this I did a podcast recording. We were talking about chakras. And
Perfect.
yeah, right? Like, I'm
Yes.
telling you the
We,
synchronicity. Two,
yep.
like, come on, man. What? Anywho,
Yeah.
back on track, right? Back on track. And what the podcast end up coming to is that we are all energy. And I was talking about how when our chakras are off, it's also aligned with different energetic bodies that surround our physical form. So when we have something that maybe is going on with our heart chakra, like our seat of balance and giving and receiving and boundaries and unconditional love, that is represented in one of our outer or energetic bodies. Now, when we intermix and mingle with other people, it's like when you go to a party and you're like, that vibe I'm getting from that person's off.
Mm.
But most people would be like, I'm just being foolish. When in reality, your energetic bodies was like, nah, son, back up. No,
Yeah.
like I try to tell you, man, that no, that person's no good for you.
Yeah.
Right. So like people get to understand like our energies know, right? Or and sometimes even in relationships, like if we have yet to address certain trauma, that trauma that's caught in our energetic bodies will attract a mate that is in alignment with that. So, that's to me, I think that's the importance of understanding that we are energy, we are frequencies. It's just like it's like one of the things is like meditation and like visualization and really envisioning yourself in that because you start to change, a person can change their frequency. Now all of a sudden, rather than going to chase something, you're attracting it because you're aligned to it. So
Mm.
people start to understand, like, and it could go either way. It's like, look, it's a spectrum. You got good energy, you got bad energy. I'm not, I'm free of being a judge. I'm just noticing what's there.
Yeah.
Thing is that everything is energy, right? Like, and the more we can recognize that the energy that we put out is also what we're going to attract. It's like if we also get to recognize that if we're attracting a certain energy, then that means it lives in us in a way too.
Mm.
That's what's the importance about people doing more energetic work, because while it's bringing you something, it's also cleaning a person out in a lot of ways.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah. Explained very well. Thank you,
Thanks.
Paul.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome. Yeah, I think it's
Uh,
important. Thanks for asking the question. It's a great
yeah.
question.
So I'm pretty sure this relates to your book. But can you tell us more about your book, Heal.Thy.Man Method, and kind of
Uh,
what's all with that?
yeah. I'm so proud of that book.
Uh,
Proud of myself for finishing it. It all started. I mean, like I knew I was gonna write a book. I put the goal out there to write the book in 2021. I failed to do it. So I got the support of my men's group, and I actually used one of Napoleon Hill's tactics in Think and Grow Rich, sex transmutation.
mm,
So I went on a I don't know if I'm Christian, but I did something called Dick Discipline, where I
okay.
didn't do
I think I've heard of this actually.
yeah, there was like no like there was no physical sex and really no ejaculation. So I
Mm,
was able to harness a lot of that creativity to create the book. And it's really interesting because as I go back, like when I did the audiobook and when I was reading through it, I was like, I don't even remember writing this. So I knew that some of the book was like from somewhere else.
wow.
So not even somewhere else, but like within me and like those guys that I was telling you about. So like I really created the book because like I'm experiencing parental alienation from my sons. So like my relationship with them is strained. So
Mm.
my thing is like I lost my dad, well, not lost, but like my dad passed when I was 24. So when I got older, I was like, God, I wish he was here.
Mm.
I wish I knew his thoughts on this and that. So I thought about that with my sons. Like, if something were to happen and they're older and they don't know, like here's some methods. And I created the book not to be like, hey man, you got to do it like this. No, it's about a man finding themselves. So I wrote it in 3 sections. I wrote the first section is called Step into the Arena, and it's about facing the greatest opponents you ever face, yourself. Like, so looking at your stories, your patterns, like the roots of all your stuff. And then I did the second section about mastering your mojo. So this is where, I talked a lot about uh, taking the violence of sex and turning it into more creativity, weapon into a wand. Talked about the words that we talk and speak to ourselves. I also talked about really stepping into unknown. And then the third section is called Rising to Your King. It's about really tapping into sovereign energy, building and creating support for goals and purpose, creating mission and purpose statement. So the book is really to help. I used to be like, oh, it's for men, but like I've been getting feedback from women
Yeah.
that like, damn, Paul, like this is like this chapter, this chapter, this chapter, this chapter all applied to me. Some of
Hmm.
them are like, yo, the whole book applied except for the stuff about the lingam and the penis and stuff.
All right. Maybe that.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I skipped that.
Right.
But like it's really a book about self-awareness, and it's a book about really connecting to self in a way to be free of judgment finally and to really see yourself and see your glory and really acknowledge your different parts. Because Marilee, I think like one of the things that and someone gave me this feedback that I'm glad it came through in the book. I want people to understand like they can be free of judgment to really understand that some of the things they think are the darkest about themselves may be the best part of themselves. Like
Ooh.
there's like something, they talk about the well of grief. Like, are you willing to go deep enough into grief or your darkness or the murkiness to get the gold, to get the
Hmm.
gold?
Yeah.
Because there's gold in there. But the thing is, most people running like, I don't want to deal with that stuff. No, no, I don't know. And then when they finally do, they're like, oh my God, this has been here the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So,
Oof.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I was like, as you're describing your book, I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a great book. I'm gonna have to get it and read it because
yeah.
it sounds amazing.
I've been getting great feedback. Yeah, I would love
Yeah.
for you to get it and
Yeah.
let me know your feedback. It's
Yeah.
audio book too, if you want to hear the yeah, the audio
Perfect.
book is fresh. It was fun too. It was fun to do. It
Did
was
you
fun.
record it with your
Yeah,
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It was freaking fresh. It was so fresh, Marilee. I was like hear my voice. I was like, I don't want to hear it, but
I
I was
know,
like,
I know.
oh, the guy
Not
that
so
does the
bad.
mixing. I was like, that sounds like that was me.
I sound so good. Yeah.
I sound great. I can do this for work. Oh shit. But yeah, it was freaking cool. It was really cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And so I know you have your podcast that's also titled Heal Thy Man. I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's very similar topics, but can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, as a manifesting generator, this was one of the projects.
Cool.
But I again, it's like another like chronicles for my
Mm,
boys and other men. So I talk about a lot of things that like just like as far as like optimism, but not like optimism, like this is what you gotta be, but like what it takes, like the grittiness, the resiliency to truly and the courageousness to
mm,
actually be optimistic. And then like even talking about things like fathers that are going through parental alienation, like the
mhm.
diaries of a deadbeat dad. Like, I just like I talk about topics that are I think are real and relevant
Yeah.
and provide insight for men and whoever's listening really to be able to navigate their way through it. Like I think it's my main intention with the podcast was to present like men that are doing extraordinary things and have men be a vessel to share wisdom rather than hold it.
Mm,
Men are in this mode of, or the perception is that men are competitive, but in
right.
reality, like for thousands and thousands of years, like men would go out and hunt together and be in community
Yeah.
and love up on each other and man support each other, like build each other and stuff. And we get away from that. Like, and I think that's by design to have us be competitive. So I've always seen the Heal.Thy.Man podcast, Heal.Thy.Man Chronicles, as a way for men to be able to share their wisdom, share their stories, share their insights.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I love that you're building these communities. That's so great.
Yeah.
Um,
Manifesting generator.
that's right. I know you got so much
Yeah.
energy and great ideas. I love it.
Yes. Yeah. And we act on it. Yay.
Yes.
Yes. It's beautiful.
So kind of speaking in that same vein, I know some of the services that you have to help support men and people is to develop positive masculinity. And I think
Mhm.
you kind of shared some of that, but can you help us understand what you mean by positive masculinity?
Yeah, I'm even gonna reframe it respectfully. I'm gonna say
Mhm.
authentic masculinity.
Authentic. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason for the reframe is we're we're me and the organization I work with are that I founded, co-founded Brotherhood of Kings.
Hmm.
We want to we want to take out the negative and positive and begin to see it as poles rather than a
Mm,
story or a box.
love it.
So, they like because the toxic masculinity has been beat to
Yeah.
yeah.
We get it. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. All
You're
right, we
right.
understand. Okay,
Yeah.
it's toxic, it's man, okay. Then at the same time, it's been about the overly positive, which I think has been in alignment with an agenda to make men more feminine. So I
Mm,
think it's like, and then this is the thing about uh the polarity is like men, a masculinity is the pole, right? Is the line. Then
hmm.
it's like there's people are all along. The thing is to get in the middle and be balanced.
Right.
So when we say authentic masculinity. It's about a man determining what being a man is for them,
Mhm.
like exploring and learning as a man. What
Yeah.
does it look like for you to love? What does it look like for you to protect and fight? What does it look like for you to create? What does it look like for you to be a sovereign, a ruler of yourself? So it's about really helping a man to break out of the box to help him become an authentic man and really embody authentic masculinity.
Hmm.
And I like the fact that we're using more of a masculinity term rather than men, because it's going more along with the law of gender,
Yeah,
and masculinity and femininity.
that's right.
Everyone's got it. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like, and it's energetic.
Yeah.
So even though I'm in my physical body, I'm a man, I still get to take on feminine characteristics and traits and energies to
Hmm.
support the masculine energies within me. And
Yeah.
that's what being authentic masculinity is. It's free of being like, oh, you're acting like a what's did not or this or that. No, it's about like, okay, so what does that look like for you?
Hmm.
And what kind of stereotype, what story are you aligning to, and is that really your story?
Right.
Because like a lot of masculinity is either told, or like the what it is to be a man is curated by either the family, the culture, or media. So like
Yes.
your story of what it is to be a man and be masculine, is that your story really? Or is it in one of those three categories? It's okay if it is. It's just about being aware,
Being aware. Yeah.
you know?
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more because I do see it as like, we all kind of have the gender qualities. We all have those in us, male and female. And I'll even speak for myself, like something around sort of understanding my masculine qualities of like, you know, like standing up for yourself, speaking up, really inhabiting who I am and like putting that forward, which
Yeah.
is was always kind of rough and hard for me. But in speaking to some like even like something as much as, when uh speaking with other men that I worked with and how they would just like walk into a room and like with their manager meeting and like, you need to pay me more, like that kind of stuff, and I was like, what? Blew my
Yeah.
mind. Like, you can just
Yeah.
do that, and then that's when I was like, yeah, you can't. You just like it's not just them, you can do it too.
Yeah,
So yeah.
exactly. It's
Hmm.
like it's so, and that's such a great example, right?
Hmm.
Because it's like there's taking the masculine and the feminine and making it more right and left brain.
Right. Yeah.
So like our left brain more analytical, right?
Yeah.
Like it controls the right side, which is said to be the masculine. So like if I'm going in to be like, I want more money, I got to have a strategy in my head and be analytical. Like, what would warrant more money?
Right.
Well, I did this. Okay,
Yeah.
locked in the barrel. Now you also got to take the right side of the brain, which is creative. It's
Mm.
intuitive.
Hmm.
Okay, like, okay, how do I want to say it? What's the tone?
Right.
When do I go? Do I go after lunch when he's in a food coma? Like, do I, like, right? So now it's like I'm using everything to be able to like, hey, you know what? I've been doing this. I want to raise. You know what? You get one. Sometimes they're going in there like, give me a raise, and be
Yeah.
like,
Right.
you're fired coming in here
Right.
like that. Come on, man. You better watch yourself. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all, again, it's a mixture, and that's again contributes to the authentic masculinity, still being assertive rather than aggressive, and at the
Yeah.
same time, like, having an iron fist with the velvet glove. So it's a very interesting balance.
Ooh, yeah. Again, beautifully explained. Thank you. So articulate, and yeah, I like how you applied both. Oh, it was good. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, cool.
Um, so I know you kind of mentioned, I think you have an event coming up, but do you have any other projects or events that you would like for us to know about?
Yes. So
Of
uh so
course.
a couple of, like, most of my programs and offerings are for men. So for
Mhm.
men, all the men out there that are listening to this, so I have a program right now called Step into the Arena. It's really, there's two phases of it. There's a shorter version, which is 7 weeks, and then there's a longer version, which is going into 14 weeks. And basically, it's stepping the self. So it's really looking at and rewiring stories, looking at patterns. Um, it's um, it's a game. It's a shifter. It's gonna shift people, and To be, I'm always about being transparent, and I prefer to be transparent about this. It ain't for the faint of heart. So it's for people that have started to do the work or have been in therapy. It's not working for you. This is the thing to do. It's time to come to the arena.
Mm.
Also coming out in March online, we're going to be doing something called Soul Speak Mastery, which is a conscious communication course. This is co-ed. I'm excited for it. It's a course I designed called Connect This. It's based around nonviolent communication, bringing in spirit. So this is like if people are having difficulty like expressing yourself, you're in a relationship, you're like, my girlfriend or boyfriend just doesn't understand and hear what I'm saying, then this is the course for you. Or if you just want to get better with like any negative self-talk that you're experiencing, this is a course for you. So that's going to be out in March. I think the start date is either end of March or beginning of April. So that's coming out. And then we offer online circles for men of color with the Brotherhood of Kings. The website is BROTHAHOOD of Kings at gmail.com. Oh, at www.brotherhoodofkings.com. That's it. Yeah, I got it. And yeah, so you can go to the website and then you can access, and then you can also go to my website too, www.heal.thy.man healthymanmethod.com. That's where you see all the programs, latest installs and latest programs coming up.
Oof, wonderful. Yeah. What good, great things that you well thought out communities for people, places for people to be and express themselves. I love that you put that together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been good service. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's good expression for me too, because I got a lot. You know how it is. I got a lot of things up in this head, man.
Good. Get it out.
Woo! You know.
I
Yeah,
do know.
I don't imagine how many journals you have. I got like I'm at my desk, I got like three. Only here. Don't even my room, I got seven. It's like, oh my God. I
Oh
gotta write
boy.
this down.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I feel that. Um, well, yeah, thanks, Paul. I love again, like people definitely check out Paul. You do live streams all the time. When do you do them? You just seem to do them like you do them all the time. They're great.
Yeah. I'm well. So now I've been working on when is going to be my schedule. So
Oh,
it's most
okay.
likely going to be. I know there's going to be one on Saturday mornings, and
Mm.
then one on Wednesday evening, and then probably on Monday night as well. So
Oh,
I'm looking to do 3 live streams. It's all part of this course I took called Technically Speaking. So like this is the integration, and it's like really helped me work on my frame thought, coordinate my ideas because like I want to speak, like I like
mm.
speaking, and I know I can get paid to speak, and plus like
Yeah.
even whether I get paid or not, like I get paid in the energy because people are like, dude, can you sing it again? Like, yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You got questions? I
Hmm.
love, I love that. So it's good
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah,
Thanks
I
for
know.
reminding me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I know it's so cute because like when you open up, you're like, okay, get my reps in.
Yes. Yes. Get the reps
Get
in.
the
Get
reps
the
in.
reps in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yes.
I love it. So committed.
Thank you.
Um, well, oh, thanks, Paul. You're such a delight. Um, so kind of the last thing we leave our lovely audience with are some words of wisdom. Not that you haven't already given us so much, but what kind of words of wisdom would you like to leave us with today?
Hmm. Oh man. Be curious with yourself.
Mm.
Be curious. When a person goes into the space of curiosity, they're childlike. They're really never fearful of anything. They're curious. They want to know more. They want to get to be kind of go in and see what's up. They're never judging. They're just like experiencing what the experience is. And I invite people to be curious with yourself because the only person that's going to save you is you, and the greatest gift that you have is you.
Mm.
So please take care of yourself, harness yourself, because you doing that uplifts us all. Best believe. And
Oh my
blessings to you
gosh.
always. Thank you.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, I love, I never even considered be curious with your own self. That is wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure. It's been so much
yeah.
fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yes, Paul, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, everybody definitely check out Paul's videos. You're a delightful guest. Thank you so much for being on.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Marilyn.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
Your support means the world to us. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please take a moment to like, comment, and share it with others who might find this content valuable. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more enlightening discussions. Your engagement helps us grow, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being a part of the Casual Temple community.